Okay, awesome. Kind of Life. This song's super meaningful to me, and I think to Chris also. So when I moved out here, and I was on search for somebody to record music with. I've been recording music for a long time, and I got to meet this man named Chuck Harris, and that's how we met. Chuck introduced us to each other, and Chuck had been my engineer, producer, friend to many of us for the whole time I was here. I mean, we're talking 7 years, and I think in 7 years, I think we used to release prior to COVID, before I got long COVID and battled with that for a while. We used to release songs almost every month. We were in the studio all the time, and Chuck was one of those he was a very accomplished engineer that did a lot of Christian music and just worked with some of the best artists in the country, and toured live with Don Moen, and just was amazing. The fact that he lived out in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee on a ranch, it was amazing. But he just was such an unbelievable friend and blessing to so many of us. We lost Chuck over a year ago now, right? It's been about, yeah. He passed away. We didn't get that much time to say goodbye to him. He had been dealing with stuff for a little while, but really it was a 2-3 week. But one of my favorite memories, and I think about Chuck all the time, one of my favorite memories of Chuck is the last time I saw him. Chris, I don't know if you know this. Last time I saw him, I walked into his hospital with Tim, and we were walking to the hospital, and I came around the corner, and this is like a day before he died. We were going around the corner, and I saw him, and it was amazing. He was translucent. And when I say he was so, it wasn't like he was pasty white, or it was like he was glowing. His skin was glowing. And I got to spend with Tim a little bit of time with him. We prayed with him. He prayed over us. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I had never seen, it was just amazing. It was the last time I spent any time with him. And I don't know, I know for a fact he's in a better place. He's just was such an amazing man that invested in so many of us. And so, Chuck, we love you. Mickey Ann, we love you. It's his wife. And the cool thing, Chris just told me, so we're using a piece of equipment here. That was Chuck's.
Yeah. His warm audio preamp, mic pre's.
So it's so cool.
Was kind enough to meet me and let me borrow it. So.
It's awesome. It's he loved he was an aficionado. He was an expert in what equipment he liked, and warm audio was one of those he just loved. So this song is Kind of Life. Another song I'll play at conferences in the right setting. And it's very similar to when it doesn't count, but the kind of life I choose is what's important. Again, the choice of living a life that loves other people. At some point, it's a decision for all of us. And so that's what this is about. Here we go.
I'd climb the mountains if I believed that I could. I'd cross the oceans if I knew where I stood. The things that get in my way are the things I believe I'd say. Oh, I've got to try. I've got to live this life. Give all that I have, right up to the end. And I've got to give, I've got to live like I've got nothing to lose. It's this kind of life I choose. I've heard all that noise before. left all alone, surrounded by you and more. The things that get in my way are the things I believe I'd say. You know, I always say, oh, I've got to try. I've got to live this life like I've got nothing to lose. It's this kind of life I choose. If I don't give a shot, if I don't give a shot, I'll never get anything. If I don't learn to love, I'll be forever lonely. If I don't take a hit, I'll never learn to get back up. If I don't put my heart out there, I'll never fall in love. Oh, I've got to try. I've got to live this life. Give all that I have, right up to the end. And I've got to give, I've got to live like I've got nothing to lose. It's this kind of life I choose, the kind of life I choose, the kind of life I choose.
That sounded nice. It's funny, I forgot to sing one whole part of the chorus, which, you know, I think is still a keeper. Anyway, that's a song that means a lot because every time I sing it and I'm around it, and it's so important to me to play that song well because it's the last song we recorded with Chuck. And I remember being in the studio with him, and I remember hearing his voice, and I remember seeing his face and his smile, and he was so peaceful. Chuck was always so stoic and peaceful and caring. It's funny how many people I meet. Whenever I meet with them, Chuck made everyone feel like they mattered, and he believed in them. I mean, just doesn't matter who it was, and he loved all of us. And so he had just an amazing group of people around him that he sewed into for years and years and years. And so Chuck Harris, we love you, and we're so grateful to you. And thank you, Mickey Ann, for opening up your house to a bunch of crazy musicians that would just get a studio in his basement. And she just opened up her life to a bunch of musicians. And anyway, he is missed all the time. He's missed every time I pick up a guitar. It's hard not to think about him. But brother, I'm grateful to him because he introduced us and Tim Newton and a bunch of amazing musicians. That's kind of life.